Hokage hundreds of millions of rewards. Chapter 481-508. Chapter 481 Ninjutsu that can switch states freely. If every point of this barrier is made up of bombs, then why doesn't it take a single bullet to move the whole body after an explosion? If it is all bombs, the whole thing must be activated. Thinking of this, Deidara it is said. Takikawa Tokyo, I admit that I underestimated you before. However, I don't understand why this explosion barrier didn't fully explode after a little explosion. When Shiyu heard the words, a flash of joy flashed in his heart, but his face still had an unwavering look on his face. Deidara's ability to ask such a question shows that he has been shocked by Shiyu. As long as Shiyu worked harder and told him the real reason, he should be able to get the latter's approval. In this way, it is almost time to complete the task. After a few thoughts flashed in his mind, Shiyu smiled slightly. Oh, the reason is very simple. This is both an enchantment and a bomb that can explode at any time. And what kind of thing you want to become, the key lies in me. Simply put, I have mastered the life and death of the trapped person. The reason why you didn't get a hold of it when you verified it just now is because it's just an enchantment now. You said. Deidara was instantly stunned, but at the same time, she was once again shocked by these words. He didn't expect that 4 Ghosts Flame Explosion could still play like this. To know that if you want to do this, the only possibility is that you have already installed a bomb on your opponent. In this case, the effect is the same. But this situation is impossible to use, because this premise is that you have already captured the opponent. If so, there is absolutely no. This is the biggest difference between the two. In battle, if the recruiter does not have the strong strength to break the enchantment, life and death will be in the caster's mind. After all, sometimes some enemies are to be captured alive. Of course, even if the recruiter has the strength to destroy the enchantment, the caster can directly detonate it at the moment when the former wants to destroy the enchantment. This can be considered a backhand. Even if it can't kill the hitman, it can at least seriously injure him. So, this trick is very practical. You can either capture your opponent alive or kill him directly. As long as the opponent is attacked, his life and death are between your thoughts. As an enchantment, as long as someone wants to break through. Once touched, the countless tiny spots of light that make up the barrier explode. If the impact exceeds a certain level, it will be activated. Therefore, after one point explodes, it will only affect a part of the area, and will not explode completely. Because it is now just an enchantment with an explosive backlash, and the energy in it is still in an inactive state. And the key to activating them is that on the ground is a little ghost statue. Only Shiyu knows about this. That's why they exist. After learning about the abilities of this art from Tokyo, Deidara was shocked, but also had a look of displeasure on her face. In his opinion, he was underestimated by Shiyu. Shiyu told him the secret of the 4 ghosts without reservation, and there were naturally these reasons. This practice than anyone else. This is the attitude of the strong to the weak. Chapter 482-Nanobomb. C4 Garuda. Although she was extremely shocked by Tokyo's ninjutsu, it was far from the point where Deidara gave up. Little devil, don't be too proud. Deidara between the words seemed to think of some kind of cracking method, only to see his hand stretched out a large piece of clay from his pocket. Immediately afterwards, he directly put it into his mouth. But what is surprising is that he chewed at this time, exploding clay. The mouth is not any of the palms of his hands. It's his own one. Deidara chewed. After that, he spit out the detonating clay, transformed by chakra. Tack, tack, tack. These clays kept falling from the sky, and finally condensed into a huge figure in Shiyu's eyes. It was a clay giant that looked exactly like Deidara. If it weren't for the lack of vitality on his body, he would definitely be regarded as a lively, giant Deidara. Needless to say, this is one of Deidara's ninjutsu. Shiyu also knows very well about this ninjutsu. This is the strongest trump card that Deidara can display without sacrificing his life. Open black lens bracket Garuru close black lens bracket. This is Deidara to kill Itachi. And invented ninjutsu. Eat a ball of detonating clay. Out from the mouth, forming a huge doll that is exactly the same as itself. The doll contains nanotype, invisible to the naked eye. The clay spiders, once exploded, will spread these clay spiders into the air within a certain range. Within the range, inhaling this nano-sized clay spider into the body is equivalent to setting a bomb all over the body. The end, through countless small explosions, the field gradually destroys the entire creature, achieving the effect of complete destruction. It can be said that it is a technique that can kill people without a trace. If Shiyu didn't know about this technique, he might have to sacrifice it. A open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Izanagi close black lens bracket. You can easily escape this move. Of course, it is not difficult to find the weakness of this technique in battle with Tokiha's current strength. As long as he reasonably uses Raiden Thunder style restraint, or uses space ninjutsu to escape a certain range of the ninjutsu explosion. And if Shiyu thought about it, he was fully capable of researching some ninjutsu to deal with this trick. Just that there is no need for this now. Even if I use Izanagi without a Sharingan, Shiyu can rely on Yin-Yang Dun to restore his eyes. And as long as there is the blood of the open black lens bracket Uchiha clan close black lens bracket in his body, open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket will naturally be able to reproduce. As for the transplant, it is impossible. There is no power of blood. The reason why they can't even close it is because they can't channel the power back into the body. After casting Garuda, Deidara's cold voice sounded again. Little devil, this trick was originally reserved for Itachi. However, it can only be used on you now. Deidara knows that it is not easy to break Four Ghosts Pyroblast, so his idea is to make explosions with explosions. Because the explosion of open black lens bracket for Garuda close black lens bracket is within a certain range, as long as his master has a good distance, it will not be affected. Waiting for his move to make Shiyu the bomb barrier. In addition to the destruction, the nano-sized clay spider contained in it. It will be sucked into the body by Shiyu unknowingly. He will be able to blow the horn of the counterattack. Deidara's idea is beautiful, but the problem is that his idea has long been seen through by Shiyu. Can only be said that everything he has now is in vain. The reason why he is still alive is because Shiyu's mission has not yet been completed. Chapter 483_Blast It. Eye of Yuhi. Little devil, this trick was originally reserved for Itachi. However, it can only be used on you now. Voice fell. Deidara stopped talking nonsense. I saw the white flying dragon under his control rise to a very high height. That height has already exceeded the limit that can be reached after the For Garuda explosion. The reason why he did this is very simple. Although the explosion of Garuda has a limit range, but now he is in Shiyu's Four Demons Flame Explosion. Explode in a confined space. Once the left and right range is limited, then its upper and lower limits will naturally be extended. Below is the ground, and the scope of downward spread is limited. So the rest of the power will sweep the sky, so Deidara must maintain a sense of absolute distance. Once he inhales the nano bomb. If so, then he can't detonate it. As for the result of the Four Ghosts Flame Explosion being detonated, it is not within his scope of consideration. In his opinion, only this bomb enchantment can be. Only by destroying him completely can the master take the initiative. Otherwise, if the stalemate continues like this, he will only be a turtle in a urn. Therefore, he can only rely on open black lens bracket for Garuda close black lens bracket to give it a go. After such thoughts flashed through his mind, Deidara's hand seal has been formed. Drink, with 2 fingers together. Sound as the seal, but the seal with the palms folded together. This is one of the final signs of open black lens bracket Doden, Earth style close black lens bracket. The principle is the same as open black lens bracket Kaden, fire style close black lens bracket. The last seal is the representative of each escape technique. Kaden, fire style, is basically yin. As for other escape, there are several kinds. Just like this open black lens bracket Doden, Earth style close black lens bracket. In addition to open black lens bracket C close black lens bracket print, there are open black lens bracket Mao open black lens bracket Shu close black lens bracket print etc. With the movement of Didera's thoughts, the huge, clay Didera. But it exploded instantly. Seeing this, Didera did not forget one sentence. Little devil, look forward to it. Next second, an unexpected scene appeared. I saw that huge, clay Didera. When it exploded, there was no loud explosion as expected. And it turned into nothingness in silence. If Shiyu didn't know the principle of this technique, it is estimated that he would be at a loss now. But it's a pity that he is not interested in this, Garuru. This technique is well known. The huge clay Didera didn't disappear mysteriously, but split into something invisible to the naked eye, that's all. AKA, nanostate. The clay spider. At this moment, Didera wanted to see surprise on Tokiyu's face, but the result was not what he wanted. There was no surprise on Shiyu's face, and he was still calm, as if everything was under the master. Seeing this, Didera's eyes also flashed with anger. This feeling of being despised was really unbearable for him. This was the first time in his life that he was looked down on like this. At this time, he was really angry. When such emotions appeared on Didera's face, the split, nanostate. The spider bomb has already destroyed most of the 4 ghosts. Filled up. Little devil, you will pay for your ego. Didera's fingers finally came together, forming his most familiar handprint. Open black lens bracket drink close black lens bracket. As he let out a loud shout, the barrier that seemed to have nothing attached to it suddenly exploded. And Shiyu, who had expected this step, also activated the backhand at the same time. There, nano-level spider bomb. At the moment of the explosion, the 444 inches little ghost statues, in the enchantment. It was at this moment that he suddenly opened his eyes. That moment, Yuhi the gorilla overflowed. To see the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 484_auto update. 4 red flame array. Little ghost statues, in the 4 ghosts flame explosion. His eyes suddenly opened, and the eyes of 4 pairs of orangutan Yuhi shot open in an instant. Made the dark purple enchantment barrier more than doubled in an instant, as if its color had changed. Because of the reason that Didera detonated the nanoscale bomb, the bomb barrier below was annihilated by the smoke and dust. It's hard to see what's real. As for Didera himself, he hangs high above the sky. 4 ghosts pyroblast, that does not activate the explosion mode. Coupled with the limited range of nanoscale bombs split by open black lens bracket 4 Garuda close black lens bracket. Therefore, there was no explosion above the 100 meters of the barrier. At this moment, Didera's face was full of pride. In his opinion, Shiyu's explosive barrier will inevitably be in his nanoscale bomb. Was completely destroyed below. But the next second, a strange scene appeared. I saw the light of the 4 red Yuhi suddenly rushed out from the smoke-shrouded place, directly covering the dark purple barrier. Seeing this scene, Didera beat a drum in her heart. Could this be a precursor to the collapse of the barrier? Thinking like this, Didera couldn't help but glance at Shiyu who was outside the barrier, her brows furrowed again. Because he saw that there was no trace of worry on the latter's face, as if the barrier in front of him had not been destroyed at all. But in Didera's view, Tokiyu was overconfident. Because he just tested it with a bomb, this, 4 ghosts. Although the enchantment level can temporarily stop the cage level. Strong for a while. But under such intensive bombardment, it is bound to collapse. This point, he is extremely convinced. Otherwise, there will not be a lot of smoke and dust outside the enchantment. It can be seen from this that it has been damaged before. As for the final result, just wait for the smoke and dust below it to dissipate. Think about this. Deidara's eyes instantly come from withdrawing, and then staring at his feet. After a while, as the smoke and dust dissipated, the barrier that had been annihilated for nearly 100 meters was exposed to the air again. But at this moment, Deidara was dumbfounded. For nothing else, just because the barrier under his feet was still intact. Impossible. It's impossible. At this time, Deidara couldn't help but exclaimed in exclamation to vent the inconceivableness in her heart. Because there was smoke and dust outside just now. If the enchantment is not damaged, there may be mist outside the enchantment. This answer is obviously unreasonable. Dropping an Orochimaru base shows how powerful he is. But now he didn't even destroy the barrier in front of him, which made him feel so embarrassed. This made him doubt the power of his art for a while, and Shiyu also explained. Deidara, it's not your bomb. It's just that my ninjutsu is automatically upgraded. Auto upgrade. Deidara muttered, a look of confusion on her face in addition to shock. My first stage 4 ghost flame explosion was indeed blown up by your 4 Garuda, but it still has a second stage. Phase 2. Deidara exclaimed. Nice. Shiyu nodded and continued. You must have noticed that the color of the current barrier has changed. And what caused this change was the 444 little ghost statues below. After the dark purple barrier is destroyed, it automatically activates the second stage barrier, which is the current red Yuhi barrier. And this enchantment is more than 4 times more than 4 purple flame array. Because if you want to use it, you must join forces with 4 cage level powerhouses to do it. It is the super powerful spirit formation ninjutsu, 4 red flame formation. Chapter 485-6 Red Sun Formation. Obito exposed. 4 red sun arrays, super strong ninjutsu. It is necessary to gather 4 top ninjas with a chakra amount of Hokage level, and open a cuboid enchantment of red Yuhi color transparent flame in the 4 directions of east, west, north and south respectively, which can destroy the target. Isolated from the outside world. The enchantment has red Yuhi-colored flames, which can neither allow outsiders to enter the enchantment, nor allow the enemies inside the enchantment to escape the enchantment. Once it touches the 4 walls of the enchantment, it will be burned by flames, and its hardness can withstand 10 tail beast bullets. Power is super powerful, dozens of times stronger than the 4 purple flame formation. This is Shiyu's backhand, the second stage of Bakuden explosion style 4 ghost flame explosion. Whether it is 4 purple flames formation or 4 red sun formation. If you don't have enough chakra, you need 4 people to cooperate. Shiyu didn't act at all before, and the second stage of launching this ninjutsu is automatic. As long as the first layer of enchantment is destroyed, the 444 inches little ghost statues, located in the south and northwest. This second barrier will be activated. They have already been infused with enough chakra by Shiyu. Only Shiyu can do such a thing. However, other people can also do it by themselves when they enter the 6 paths mode. The enchantment ninjutsu of 4 red suns. To know in the final battle. With the power of 6 paths mode, Obito alone cast the 6 red sun formation, which is stronger than the 4 red sun formation. Seen that no matter how strong the ninjutsu is, as long as your personal strength reaches a terrifying level, you can basically display it. With the appearance of the 4 scarlet sun formation. Undoubtedly, it has attracted more customs, including Suzuki, Karen and Chongo who are coming here. 3. At this time, the 3 of them had already arrived at the scene. The power of the enchantment. Feeling the strong pull emanating from the enchantment, they felt that they had a new understanding of Shiyu. In addition to the 3 of them, there are 2 others. They are Sasuke Kazuhiro who are fighting. At this time, the eyes of both of them are full of horror. Especially the experienced Obito, Sasuke can only feel the extraordinariness of this red Yuhi-colored barrier, but he doesn't know how difficult it is to cast this barrier. He didn't know, but Obito knew it. Because of this ninjutsu, he will too. If he didn't wear a mask, the shock on his face would never escape Sasuke's eyes. Open black lens bracket 4 red suns formation close black lens bracket. Obito murmured, with a touch of emotion in his tone. Because now, he can't perform this ninjutsu by himself. If it weren't for the appearance of Suzuki, Karen, and Jugo 3, Obito would have thought that Tokyo alone had performed such a super strong barrier ninjutsu. It is precisely because of the appearance of Shueyu Threesome 3 that Obito denied the fact. But this is also reasonable. As long as a normal person thinks so, not to mention that Obito is a well-thought-out, Eye of the Moon plan executor. Later, with his own resourcefulness, he was even out of the control of open black lens bracket Madara close black lens bracket when he fought with Kakashi in the open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket space. Seen that Obito's IQ is quite high. Although Obito really wanted to go to the scene at this moment, to verify, who are the other 3 people who joined forces with Tokyo to perform this enchantment ninjutsu, but unfortunately it is Sasuke, it's not as far as he wanted. Sasuke was also curious, but since Tokyo handed Obito to him to deal with, he naturally couldn't let him down. Moreover, Sasuke at this moment has obtained a very useful information. That is, he found out the fact that Obito has Sharingan. Please download the ununderlined version of the novel. Chapter 486 An accomplice of genocide. Uchiha survivor. Obito revealed that it is reasonable to have open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket, because at this time Sasuke has entered the open black lens bracket curse sealed state 2-2 close black lens bracket. Originally, Sasuke was quite perfect for the curse sealed transformation, and with the addition of Shiyu, he sensed and controlled natural energy. Now his curse sealed transformation is not as high as Chongo's, but it is already perfect, and it has reached a higher level. The face of such Sasuke, Obito's strength is obviously impossible to hide. Otherwise, he is probably going to be killed by Sasuke. Sasuke is also shocked when he looks at Obito's 3 Tomo Sharingan. He obviously didn't expect the masked man in front of him to have the Kekkei Genkei of their Uchiha family. As for whether the latter's Sharingan is his own or transplanted, he still can't be sure. Sasuke has always been smart, and when he recalled what Itachi said to him at the beginning, he suddenly thought of something. Itachi said to Sasuke on the night the open black lens bracket Uchiha clan close black lens bracket was destroyed, if he can survive, then there are 3 people who can use open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket in this world 3. Obviously Itachi is reminding Sasuke in disguise that there is still one Uchiha surviving in the world today. The masked man in front of him has Sharingan, and the latter is also a member of Akatsuki organization like Itachi. Then I thought that the knife that Obito avoided him before was probably the ability of open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, because he had seen open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket. Based on the above, Sasuke had to suspect that the masked man in front of him was the 3rd person in Itachi's mouth. Think about this. Sasuke didn't cut corners and questioned Obito directly. If I'm not mistaken, the other person who has open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket in Itachi's mouth is you. Obito was slightly surprised, obviously not expecting that Zuo would know some information. After a brief silence, he followed. Why do you care about this? Humph. Sasuke snorted coldly, and then said, originally, I planned to kill Itachi and then go to you. Kill me. At this time, Obito was very puzzled why Sasuke would miss him. You know, today is his first meeting with Sasuke. The former has no reason to kill him. Did he know something? While Obito was still, suspicion, Sasuke went straight to the point. When Itachi killed all the clan, he mentioned the existence of a person. A Uchiha he didn't kill. If I'm not mistaken, this man is his accomplice. Because no matter how strong Itachi is, it is impossible to kill the entire police force in such a short period of time with the strength of one person. And you appeared with him in the Akatsuki organization, and you can use the power of Sharingan at will. In the past, you tried every possible way not to fight with me, which further proves that you have a problem. There is no doubt that this accomplice is you. Sasuke's inference is reasonable and well-founded. Police department is one of the 6 departments of Konoha. Each of the members is the elite of the Uchiha clan, and each of them is quite powerful. At that time, Itachi had just started Mangekyo Sharingan. Even if he can kill all the members of the police department. But in such a short time, it is absolutely impossible. Chapter 487 Itachi and Obito. The final resistance. After some inferences, Sasuke saw that Obito was silent, and the answer in his heart had already been affirmed. Because of this, a strong killing intent emerged from his body at the moment. Previously, it was only Tokiyu who asked him to deal with Obito. Although he was not interested in the people organized by Open Black Lens Bracket Akatsuki Close Black Lens Bracket, he did not have the will to kill. But it's different now. Now that he already knew that Obito was an accomplice in the Uchiha genocide case, how could he let the latter go? As for Obito, at this time he acquiesced. But now he doesn't want to reveal his real identity or tell Sasuke his fake identity of Open Black Lens Bracket Uchiha Madara Close Black Lens Bracket. In his opinion, now is not the time. Because Itachi is still there, so he can't do anything to Sasuke. Seeing that Obito did not refute, Sasuke questioned again. Say, who are you? Hee. Obito smiled lightly, no longer pretending to be funny. His tone became serious. You will know my identity later, but now I want to see if you have the strength to fight against Itachi. Now that his veil has been broken by Sasuke, there is no need for him to evade the battle timidly. He wanted to see if Sasuke could defeat Itachi because he couldn't make Itachi obey him completely, which is one of the reasons why Akatsuki didn't take action against Konoha. First, it's because of Konoha's good combat power. Second, Itachi really played a big role in this. Obito wasn't talking nonsense either, he instantly disappeared to the ground. This time, he took the initiative to attack. And when the battle between Obito and Sasuke started again, the battle between Tokiyu and Deidara was coming to an end. At this moment, Deidara had recovered from the shock, and those eyes were staring at Shiyu who was floating in the air. Undoubtedly, Shiyu's hand really amazed him. He can make the explosion. The latter is undoubtedly the first to complete such an appearance. And just at the moment Deidara admired, a familiar voice sounded in Shiyu's mind. Ding! Conquer Deidara with art mission complete. After hearing this prompt from the system, Shiyu could finally have no scruples. Deidara, the battle is over. When the voice fell, Shiyu's thoughts moved, and the 444 inches little ghost statues, in the red Yuhi-colored enchantment. It just shattered and opened. Immediately after. In Deidara and the water moon in the distance, Karen and Shigego's 4 eyes turned into radiance, and they directly merged into the red Yuhi-colored barrier. With the integration of these rays of light, the energy at the beginning of the entire Great Formation instantly became restless, as if it were about to collapse in the next second. Without a doubt. At this moment, Shiyu has switched to bomb mode. And the scorpion. The 444 imp statues are switches. Sensing that the entire barrier was about to explode, Deidara's face also showed a hint of death. He knew that he was planted in Shiyu's hands today. The latter was superior to him in that respect, or in other words directly crushed him. Because of the battle so far, the latter has never received a single bit of damage. Seen that there is undoubtedly a huge gap between the two. Now his chakra has been consumed too much, and it is obviously impossible to withstand the explosion of this level of quilt. There is no miracle, Deidara is doomed today. Deidara obviously anticipated what kind of result is waiting for him, so that his eyes suddenly showed a hint of madness at this moment. Apparently, he has made up his mind of some kind. He, Deidara, is going to make a final resistance. For the ununderlined version of the novel. Chapter 488 _ The Ultimate Art. An unprecedented explosion. After Deidara made up her mind, she didn't hesitate. I saw that the black Yuhi cloud robe on the body was directly torn down, and the upper body was directly exposed to the air. Was naturally not interested in Deidara's upper body. Shiyu doesn't like men. For this scene, Suzuki, Karen and Shigego in the distance may not know what Deidara is going to do, but the latter's opposing Shiyu is clear. If nothing else, Deidara is to explode. He knew that he had no life today, so he wanted to start the last trump card and die together with Shiyu. This is undoubtedly his last madness. Meanwhile, Deidara directly stretched out his hand to remove the black thread sewn on the chest, and a big mouth suddenly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. For this scene, the Water and Moon Trio 3 in the distance also looked stagnant. Obviously they did not expect that someone would create a mouth on their chest, which was indeed beyond their expectations. However, they were not too surprised. The reason is simple. This artificial mouth, by Deidara, compared with those of Orochimaru's research, it undoubtedly pales in comparison. Just as they were slightly startled, Deidara took out the little priming clay left in her pocket. At this time, Deidara's face was full of determination and madness, and then it was directly stuffed into the big mouth on his chest under the stunned eyes of everyone. Chew in that big mouth, exploding clay. At the time, Deidara's voice also sounded slowly. Takagawa Tokyo, this time I admit it. Yours is indeed better than mine, and I admit that you are one step ahead. But now I'm going to show you my ultimate art. When hearing Yu's expression was still as calm as water, without the slightest ripples due to his cruel words. In this regard, Deidara's heart is very, in his opinion, even super cage-level powerhouses. If there is no powerful escape ninjutsu, it is absolutely impossible to survive his self-destruction. His ultimate art. Enough self-confidence. However, when Deidara hadn't said what he was going to do, he was preempted. Isn't it just self-destruction? There is no need to say it so nicely. It was really surprising to be revealed by Shiyu, but at this moment his anger was higher than shock. Because Shiyu's words contained a hint of sarcasm, which he couldn't accept. In his opinion, Shiyu's remarks are a denial of his art. In his eyes, art is everything. For art, he can even sacrifice everything. Even life. Takagawa Tokiha. I don't care if you know my ultimate art, but today you go to hell with me. Deidara was shocked and angry between the words. He didn't want to know how Shiyu knew about it because in the next second, he would blow himself up. This kind of thing has nothing to do with art, and he is not very interested at this moment. Later you will witness an unprecedented explosion, which will leave a scar that is unprecedented in this land. My death is art, but you're just a funerary to admire. Because the radius of my self-destruction is as high as 10 kilometers, fear. Between the words, Deidara's whole person has gradually become transparent, and the meridian of Yuhi's blood has become black. At the same time, he glanced at the direction Obito and Sasuke had left before, and murmured, I'm sorry. Chapter 489 _ Art. Nightmare. Will. I'm sorry. As Deidara's words fell, his entire body became completely transparent. Then, under everyone's eyes, Deidara's body began to slowly disappear. The flesh and blood on the body seemed to shrink into the black meridians, and it looked a little losing. Seeing Deidara so crazy, Shiyu also had a headache. If he is the only one here, he can use the Hiraishin technique to leave. But not now. There are 3 people not far behind him, and they have all been raised by Shiyu to worship him. Especially Karen. He hasn't picked this delicate flower yet, how could it be the best to disappear after watching it? Just as Deidara was about to laugh, Shiyu spoke first. Deidara. For the sake of your dying, I'll show you something good. Although Deidara was indeed a little curious at this time, she exploded. It is impossible to stop. Little devil, don't try to delay time. My self-destructing ninjutsu cannot be stopped. In a few seconds, you will die with me. Not necessarily. There was unparalleled domineering in Shiyu's words, and there was no trace of panic on his face. Because it's true, he wanted to deal with Deidara's self-destruction in many ways, but at this moment he wanted to use the latter's most uncomfortable one. Obviously, Deidara's constant clamor made Shiyu a little angry. The next second, when Deidara was stunned, a pair of blood-colored eyes suddenly came into his eyes. At this moment, his whole person is not good. Not for others. Because those eyes are his nightmare, and he has never had a nightmare until now. Those eyes are open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. When Itachi, Oni and Sasori invited him to join open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket, he naturally disagreed at first. Also, I want to be with Itachi. 3 people 3 hands. So Itachi made a battle with him. If Deidara loses, join the Akatsuki organization. Result, there were naturally no surprises. Itachi wins. But the problem is that he is completely toyed with by Itachi, and between the palms of his hands, his proud art. Nothing in front of Itachi. Just one move, demonic illusion, knocked him down instantly. At that moment, his heart was shaken. He thinks these eyes are a kind of amazing art. But it is a pity that this kind of bloodline inheritance, bloodstain boundary. He couldn't learn it even if he worked hard all his life. So, he had to find a way to keep himself out of demonic illusion. So, there is his left eye, which is difficult to hit. All this is the result of his hard work. But unfortunately, he underestimated the demonic illusion of Sharingan. Demonic illusion of Sharingan should be superior to the general demonic illusion, if it is not trained by Sharingan. In actual combat against the enemy, it is still difficult to avoid getting hit. Like Kurenai Yuhi, she is Konoha's demonic illusion master. She is definitely second to none in the fight against demonic illusion, but her performance in front of Itachi is also unsatisfactory. So even if Deidara is trained specifically for demonic illusion, there is no guarantee that he is 100% able to penetrate demonic illusion. Mention Sharingan demonic illusion, which is quite powerful in itself. Of course, his training is not completely ineffective. At least he is more difficult to hit than others, and can see through some low-level demonic illusion very quickly. It can be said that almost everything in Deidara is prepared for Itachi, and even the addition of Akatsuki is mostly because of Itachi. He vowed to defeat Itachi. But what he didn't expect was that he would meet Tokiyu here today, and meet such a pervert. So, he admits it. But what he never imagined was that Shiyu also had open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. Chapter 490_grave. Space explosion. Arm. Sharingan. Just as Deidara was shocked, the open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket in Shiyu's eyes changed again. In an instant, the Mangekyo pattern appeared. Immediately after. Shiyu didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, and with a thought, the space around Deidara suddenly distorted. Next second. Under Suzuki, Karen and Shigego's stunned gazes, Deidara's transparent body instantly disappeared. They don't know what kind of ninjutsu, Hiraishin's art they have seen before, but the trick in front of them doesn't seem like it. But in fact, they don't know the Hiraishin's art. Hiraishin's art has a ninjutsu called Hiraishin Guiding Thunder, which is almost exactly the same as this Kamui. The only difference is that open black lens bracket Hiraishin Guiding Thunder close black lens bracket teleports the target to other places, but it is still in this world. And open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket is to send distorted things to a different space. This is the essential difference between the two kinds of open black lens bracket time and space ninjutsu closed black lens bracket. And when Deidara disappeared in this world, Shiyu's voice also disappeared with it. Underscore. Yuhi colored barrier that is about to explode. The next moment. Without the slightest accident, when the energy of the red Yuhi colored enchantment reached its peak, it exploded directly. Boom, boom. The sound was deafening, and the scene was like a flame of Jinchuriki column, running through the sky. Every distance around Yan Jinchuriki column, there are circles of smoke and dust, rippling the sky. Although the scope of this explosion has not changed, the power is still shocking. The distance, Suzuki, Karen and Shigego 3 all gasped, and even Obito and Sasuke in another battlefield. Especially the 3 of Water Moon 3. They were at the scene, and felt the most clearly. In their opinion, if the power of the 4 ghost flames explosion spreads, is definitely enough to destroy a small town. But unfortunately, the 4 ghosts flame explosion seems to have been destroyed by something, and the range will not spread around. And this is Tokiyu's genius. This Bakuden explosion style, 4 demons pyroblast, is a ninjutsu he carefully created, and this effect is one of them. This effect will not spread to others and is a single range explosion. In this way, the explosion will neither harm the innocent nor the comrades who are fighting the enemy. In general, the practicality of this ninjutsu is stronger. Moreover, because the explosion does not spread, its power is also increasing. Powerful. Fixed point blasting, this is a bit equivalent to a technological means. But Shiyu relied on his talent to create this amazing ninjutsu. And this is also one of the reasons why Suzuki, Karen and Shigego were shocked at this time. Obviously, it was the first time they saw this kind of weird ninjutsu. They knew that Shiyu was very strong, but they didn't expect the latter to be so strong. And just as they were astonished, a person in another dimension also had this idea. Moreover, his shock is obviously more than Karen's 3. Because he is now in a strange space, a dark world unknown to him. This person is none other than Tokiyu, who was teleported to the Kamui different space. Deidara. Deidara after some astonishment. His eyes were fixed on Shiyu, and the shock in his eyes became more and more intense. Obviously, he still underestimated Shiyu. The latter not only has several kinds of open black lens bracket Kekkei Genkei close black lens bracket, but also has open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket. All of this is beyond Deidara's expectations. If time could go back, he would never be the enemy of Shiyu. In his opinion, the young man in front of him is stronger than Itachi. But there is no medicine for regret in the world, and it is too late to regret it now. Because his body had completely disappeared at this time, and all the black meridians had shrunk into a sphere the size of a fist. Seeing that Deidara was about to explode, Tokiyu said again. Here is the tomb I prepared. Here, your explosion is still unprecedented. Goodbye, Blast Kid. The voice fell, and Shiyu's figure began to twist. And then disappeared into this dark space with Deidara's last gaze. Realizing this scene, Deidara looked desperate. It turned out that he blew himself up, but in Shiyu's eyes it was just a joke. At this moment, he even said the last sentence, art is an explosion. They were too lazy to shout. Or, it doesn't make any sense anymore. Next second, Deidara exploded with despair, and the loud noise began to fill the space. Boom, and when the space exploded, an arm suddenly appeared in this space. Chapter 491 Amaterasu reappears. Fall of Obito. Open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket in space. The arm that suddenly appeared was naturally unable to survive the self-destruction of Deidara's range of 10 kilometers. When the arm was forcibly burst into nothingness, a roar suddenly sounded in a forest in the real world. Ah! Cry was a bit tragic, because it was the pain of the whole arm being exploded into nothingness. And the owner of this cry is none other than Obito. In today's world, there are only 3 people who can enter the Kamui space at will. One is Toki, and the other 2 are Kakashi and Obito. Although Kakashi can enter the open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket space, but with his level of control over open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket, he is unable to do so. The reason why Obito sent his arm into the Kamui space was because of the battle with Sasuke. However, fortunately this right arm was cultured in Hashirama cells. So the pain didn't last long. Be precise, the right half of Obito's body is basically transplanted. Of open black lens bracket white Zetsu close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket Hashirama cell close black lens bracket, so that SY Obito can use open black lens bracket Mokuden wood style close black lens bracket. At this moment, an incredible thought flashed in Obito's mind. Could it be Kakashi? With Kakashi's other eye on his body, it's not surprising that he would think so. According to the intelligence of the battle between Deidara and Kakashi, Kakashi has already started open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket. Moreover, he can already use the pupil art of open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket. However, Obito never imagined that the person who would make him meet would be Tokiyu, a person he never thought of. Be honest, I can only blame Obito for not being lucky because Shiyu used God. Wei only let Deidara's self-destruction spread to Karen's Trio 3. I didn't expect Obito to use Kamui at this time. Seeing this, Sasuke also had a look on his face. He had fought Obito for so long, each time he couldn't hurt Obito because of the latter's bizarre abilities. Just when he was extremely depressed, this scene happened. Because of this, Sasuke couldn't help but have an unprecedented thought in his heart. Is it a side effect of using that ability too much? With this in mind, Sasuke is also ready to verify. Immediately after. Under Obito's stunned gaze, Sasuke's open black lens bracket 3 Tomo Sharingan close black lens bracket suddenly changed. Open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket. With a shout, Sasuke spit out from his mouth, and a trace of Yuhi's blood suddenly flowed out of his left eye. Next second. Before Obito could react, his body was suddenly infected with wisps of fiery black flames. Seeing the black flame burning on his body, Obito's complexion suddenly changed. Others don't know what this trick is, but he knows it. Open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, ability. This trick he saw on Itachi. It has been passed, so it is recognized at a glance. What he didn't expect was that Sasuke would also do this trick. What shocked him even more was that Sasuke had awakened Mangekyo Sharingan. This was completely unexpected. It was because he didn't prevent this move, so he didn't use Kamui to avoid it just now. Because open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket this move itself is extremely difficult to avoid. This is a pupil technique, which directly locks the target with the eyes, and there are only 2 ways to avoid it. The first is to prevent the caster from locking. The second is to prevent the caster from hitting. Chapter 492 _ The Ultimate Demonic Illusion. Izanagi. At this moment, although Obito was bubbling with black flames that could not be extinguished, there was no trace of panic in his eyes. Look, as if this open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket can't kill him. Next second. Under Sasuke's gaze, the black flames on Obito's body became more and more vigorous. Then he wrapped his whole body, and in just a short time, it was burned into nothingness. Seeing this, Sasuke thought that Obito was dead. But the next scene made Sasuke's pupils shrink suddenly. Obito, who was supposed to be dead, appeared in front of him again, and it was still intact. Although I don't know what happened, what Sasuke can guess is that Obito should use some ninjutsu to avoid the damage of open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket. But what kind of ninjutsu is he doesn't know. If Obito is not wearing a mask, Sasuke can find that the left eye of the latter has turned white at the moment. Without a doubt. The reason why Obito was able to avoid the damage of open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket is because he just used the forbidden technique of open black lens bracket Uchiha family close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Izanagi close black lens bracket. The function is to record the state of the caster with Sharingan at the moment of its activation. Then within the effective time of the spell, the effective time of each person is different. Any damage suffered by the operator, even the death of the operator, can be physically restored to the state recorded by Sharingan, but the operator-consumed chakra will not be restored. The price is that the eye that uses Izanagi loses its light permanently and is therefore listed as a forbidden technique. To be more precise, this is a kind of ultimate demonic illusion. Exclamation mark. This technique converts all unfavorable factors, including death, to a dream in a very short period of time. At the same time, all things that are beneficial to the person, such as the attack of the caster, are real, and it is an art that can freely switch between dreams and reality. Therefore, Izanagi is a kind of demonic illusion. This demonic illusion is somewhat similar to the mirror flowers and moon of demonic illusion type world. It's a way of connecting dreams with reality. At this moment, Obito's right eye also crossed and felt distressed. Because this move wasted one of his Sharingan, but it was also helpless. If not, he would be dead now. Open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket although precious, it is far less precious than life. Moreover, this Sharingan still has stocks. These stocks were collected secretly from the Uchiha family when they were destroyed, and the purpose was to save their lives. Unsurprisingly, this technique was also taught to him by Uchiha Madara. Although Obito's strength has grown quite fast, he also has a powerful space pupil technique such as Kamui. But the world is unpredictable, and occasionally there will be some force majeure accidents. Just like now. In fact, Obito could have escaped with open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket, but he remembered that his right arm was blown into nothingness in the space of open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket, so he gave up the idea. Therefore, he could only take the second place and choose Izanagi, the forbidden technique. At this time, the eyes of Sasuke, who Obito looked at again, began to change. Some doubts about the information that Sasuke killed Orochimaru. After all, he still had some understanding of Orochimaru's strength. Otherwise, Sasori and Deidara won't get nothing if they hunt the former for so long. And Sasuke just stayed under Orochimaru's hands, more than 2 years, and even if he grew, he was very killable. Furthermore, according to the absolutely information collected, it is said that when Orochimaru fell, a team from Konoha also found its lair. But now, he doesn't have the slightest doubt. Sasuke, who awakened Mangekyo's Sharingan, does have the ability to kill Orochimaru. But what Obito didn't expect was that he still thought crooked. Orochimaru was not killed by Sasuke, and even the latter's Mangekyo's Sharingan was awakened after Orochimaru's death. And all of this was done by Shiyu alone. 3 things in reading. Chapter 493_totally misunderstood. The culprit. For this matter, Obito can be forgiven for not knowing the truth. After all, when Shia helped Sasuke awaken Mangekyo Sharingan, it was done in an illusion. Also, he avoided Naruto and Karen. So, only the 2 of them knew about it. But at this time, after knowing that Sasuke had awakened open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket, he had a new guess about the mutation that happened in the previous open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket space. Since Sasuke Mangekyo has awakened to the same ability as Itachi, naturally the same pupil technique as him may appear. Therefore, he felt that the explosion of his right arm might have been caused by Sasuke. However, this speculation was quickly rejected by him. Because Sasuke has not shown the ability of open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket before, plus Sasuke was fighting with him in close quarters, it is impossible to do things in the space of open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket at the same time. As for the power of Sasuke's right eye, he doesn't know, and he doesn't plan to find out now. Because at this moment he no longer wants to continue fighting. First, he has a rough idea of Sasuke's strength. Second, now that his right arm has been destroyed, Sharingan has also used one. Battle continues, it will only be more unfavorable to him. If the situation just now occurs, he may not be able to use his own Sharingan. This result is unacceptable to him. But even if Obito wants to break the sky, he will never imagine that the culprit who made him the way he is now will be Tokiyu. If it wasn't for the latter to blow up Deidara in the space, Obito wouldn't be so embarrassed. There won't be this follow-up butterfly effect. I don't know what kind of expression you would have on his face when he knew about this, and Sasuke is still there at the moment, shocked at how Obito escaped him open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Izanagi, this is. It's that demonic illusion doesn't feel like demonic illusion, which makes him feel extremely familiar. Immediately after. Sasuke's next sentence also made Obito look startled. Demonic illusion that connects reality and dreams. Although Sasuke did not directly say that the ninjutsu performed by Obito is Izanagi, he immediately saw the true meaning of this technique. That's why Obito was shocked. Because outsiders basically don't know about this technique, not even in the Uchiha clan. Forbidden technique by the ancestors of the Uchiha clan since a long time ago, only a few clansmen in power know it in each era. If Itachi saw the true meaning of this technique, Obito could understand it. Because the latter is a monster in demonic illusion's accomplishments. Among the ninjas he knows, apart from Uchiha Shisui, who can be compared with him, it is estimated that there is no second person to be found. But Obito never imagined that Sasuke was able to see the true meaning of Izanagi at a glance, and it was entirely Tokiyu's credit. Because his open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket is Shiyu's awakening with open black lens bracket demonic illusion type Kekkei Genkei, close black lens bracket, these two spells have different effects, but the essence is the same. Obito also spoke up after being slightly startled. I didn't expect your demonic illusion skills to be low. Obito doesn't know the reason, and can only blame it on Sasuke and demonic illusion. Sasuke and Itachi are brothers. It is completely understandable that the two have similar talents. While Obito was talking, he was already secretly testing whether the Kamui space was still different. Because you want to slip away in the assistant, using open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket is undoubtedly the fastest and best way. Chapter 494 _ The battle is over. Kakashi takes the pot. I didn't expect your demonic illusion skills to be low. Sasuke is not proud of Obito's praise because he has self-knowledge. His demonic illusion is basically derived from Sharingan, so it is stronger than the average person's. But it is far less exaggerated than Itachi, which he is well aware of. After all, that open black lens bracket Tsukuyomi close black lens bracket he has experienced firsthand. Moreover, it is entirely Tokiha's credit for him to be able to recognize at a glance that Obito is performing open black lens bracket Izanagi close black lens bracket. So, he has nothing to be complacent about. Besides, he is now preoccupied with figuring out Obito's true identity and killing him. Why his cold voice sounded slowly. Who the hell are you? If you want to know my identity, you can ask Itachi. Fell, and the space around Obito suddenly distorted. Immediately after. The latter disappeared instantly under Sasuke's gaze, and Sasuke was also helpless about this. With this ninjutsu, there is really no way for him to deal with time and space ninjutsu. The most common one is to use enchantment ninjutsu. And with Sasuke's current strength, he still can't perform the enchantment ninjutsu that can block the space, or in other words, he didn't learn it at all. Moreover, those powerful enchantment ninjutsu needs to be performed by multiple people, and it is basically impossible to perform it by one person. Unless the strength reaches a certain level, it is like the later, 6 paths Obito. Exclamation mark. He used his own power to display 2 extremely powerful spirit formation ninjutsu, open black lens bracket Uchiha flame formation close black lens bracket and open black lens bracket 6 red sun formation close black lens bracket. Especially the latter, which requires 6 cage level powerhouses to cast. But Obito is a black stick, created by Kudodama truth-seeking ball. For the 6 feet, successfully cast it out. Looking at the direction in which Obito disappeared, his head wrinkled slightly. Although he wanted to find out the identity of Obito, and even killed the traitor who destroyed their Uchiha family. But the problem is, he can't keep Obito of Master open black lens bracket space ninjutsu close black lens bracket. After staring for a while, Sasuke had no choice but to turn around and leave, the direction that Tokyo and Deidara were fighting in. From the beginning, there has been no fluctuation there. That Tokyo and Deidara's battle is over. As for the outcome, although Sasuke didn't see it with his own eyes, he believed that the winner would definitely be Tokyo. This, he never doubted. At the same time, open black lens bracket Kamui close black lens bracket in the different space. Obito noticed that there was a strong aura left over from Earth attribute chakra and frowned. Coupled with the fact that his arm was blown into nothingness here before, an idea could not help but arise in Obito's mind. Could it be that Deidara caused the explosion just now? This, Obito's heart also trembled slightly. Because if this is the case, then Deidara must have fallen. He had also noticed that the battle between Deidara and Tokyo had stopped, and even chakra had disappeared. Apparently, someone died. With the addition of the anomaly in this Kamui space, Obito locked the whole person as Deidara. So the question is, it was Tokyo who fought Deidara, who sent the self-destructed Deidara into this Kamui space. Could it be that one of the 3 who came from behind was Kakashi? Although Suzuki, Karen, and Jugo were the 3 who rushed to the Tokyo and Deidara battlefield behind, Obito obviously didn't know. Therefore, Kakashi can only bear the blame for the time being. Chapter 495 Everyone has a plan. Gone Bomberman. Could it be that one of the 3 who came from behind was Kakashi? At this time, Obito can only produce such a guess, otherwise, he can't think of a second reasonable explanation. In his master's information. Today's world, there should be only 3 Uchiha people left. In addition to him, it is the 2 brothers Itachi and Sasuke. Itachi's 2 Mangekyo abilities are clear to him. As for Sasuke who is fighting with him, it is absolutely impossible to appear on Deidara's side. 4 people left on Chiyu's side. 3 people who came behind is Kakashi, then the other 2 must be Konoha's ninjas. In this way, it makes sense that the 4 of them can use the 4 purple flame formation and 4 red sun formation. This, Obito basically pinned the culprit in the incident just now on Kakashi. Kakashi, we'll meet soon. With these words coming out of his mouth, Obito's figure also slowly disappeared into the Kamui space. However, what Obito never imagined was that he was wrong again. However, this is understandable. After all, the number of people in the ninja world who knew that Tokyo had Sharingan would not exceed the number of hands. And among the rare people, including the 2 members of the open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket organization, Itachi and Oni who visited Konoha 2 years ago. Of course, the 2 of them also had a brief confrontation with Tokyo. At that time, because they were afraid of Jiraiya, they did not have a head-to-head battle with Tokyo. However, Itachi and Tokyo had another confrontation at the time of Aikyo Shukaku in Kingdom of the River not long ago. In this battle, the latter has a good understanding of Chiyu's strength. Even though Itachi was only an elephant Chuan at that time, he could only use his body, 30% of his strength, but his strength was comparable to some Jonin. Plus he's good at demonic illusion. S original force has to be raised to a higher level. But even so, he still couldn't last a few rounds in Shiyu's hands. Moreover, he could feel that Shiyu obviously didn't use all his strength. Because he is elephant-turning body, he does not have enough chakra to use Mangekyo Sharingan and powerful ninjutsu. But the same is true of Tokyu. From beginning to end, he completely defeated Itachi's collision body with his excellent strength. And why Itachi didn't tell Obito about this was obviously intentional. In his opinion, Shiyu might be able to be the key person who stop Obito's plan. Besides, Tokyu is not the target they need to hunt, and he will only share this information when necessary. As for the ghost shark, it is estimated that I agree with the idea of Itachi. Since Tokiha has a Sharingan that can be switched on and off at will, the latter must be related to the Uchiha clan. And Itachi also spoke, and he naturally didn't want to meddle in his own business. This led to Akatsuki not paying attention to Tokyu at all, and the information about the latter was also pitiful. If it wasn't for the last time Tokiha participated in the fight to kill open black lens bracket Sasori close black lens bracket, Obito and Deidara may not know that Konoha and Takagawa Tokiha. Such a number 1 battle between Sasuke and Obito came to an end. Suzuki, Karen and Shigego on the other side stared at Tokiha, who came out of another dimension with a look of astonishment. They know that Master Shiyu has the Hiraishin technique, but the trick just now is obviously not. However, they didn't care about it. Deidara, who just started blowing up. After being taken there by Shiyu, why was there no trace of him in the area of nearly 1,000 miles? Shueyu was the first to speak. Time Feather. The incompetent and furious bomber just got you there. Chapter 496_Weird Mystery. Shadow of Kimimaro. Time Feather. The incompetent and furious bomber just got you there. In response to Shueyu's question, Shiyu said lightly, I was taken to another space by me. Tokyu's simple sentence fell, but it surprised Suzuki, Karen and Shigego. Another space. After being ninjas for so many years, they naturally know what another space means. Undoubtedly, what Shiyu just performed was a high-level time-space ninjutsu. This technique is not just as simple as space jumping, he can directly hide people in a different space that is not inferior to this world. It can be said that this is the most perfect escape method. Because no matter how you look for it, even if you search the entire continent, you can't find it. This is the power of this high-level time and space ninjutsu. Even in the ninja world, some of those ninjas who were good at time and space ninjutsu disappeared inexplicably. And some later rushed to appear in the sight of the world, and the world also knew what was behind this strange mystery. It turns out that these ninjas accidentally fell into the cracks in the different space when they were studying time and space ninjutsu, which is undoubtedly a brand new world for them. There is no life in it, and it is impossible for normal people to survive in it. If they can't understand this ninjutsu, they can't come out of it. The final result is to die of old age. And the people who can come out are naturally famous, and even the existence of the entire ninja world will choose to hide it in order to prevent other ninja villages from knowing the high level of time and space ninjutsu as master. Reason is very simple, it is other ninjas. Advanced time and space ninjutsu is extremely rare in the ninja world, so every existence is extremely important. And later existences also learned this method, which led to the loss of many advanced space-time ninjutsu. No way. Among 800 ninjas, there are no more than one hand who can understand the profound meaning of time and space ninjutsu. This is the reason why Konoha has the art of Hiraishin, but so far only 2 people can master it. In Konoha, as long as you are promoted to Jonin, and then approved by the high-level Konoha, you are eligible to learn various advanced ninjutsu preserved by Konoha. Master Yamato's powerful Mokuten wood-style secret art was learned. This is the reason why Suzuki, Karen and Shigego are so shocked at this moment. After all, this kind of ninjutsu is too rare. However, I was relieved when I thought that Shiyu created a kind of open black lens bracket sage mode close black lens bracket by himself. Relatively speaking, it doesn't seem like much. As for what happened in the Kamui space, they obviously don't know. Because even Toshio himself doesn't know. After some surprise, Chongo, who has always been reluctant to speak, will also be puzzled. What about Sasuke? Why Shigego is the key to Sasuke is because the latter has it at the same time as him. Secondly, it is also because of Kimamaro's relationship. When I went to snatch Sasuke, I said goodbye to Shigego, saying that Sasuke is his shadow and will inherit his will. And Kimamaro said this for two reasons. First, he hoped that someone could be his shadow and continue to suppress Shigego, and Sasuke was undoubtedly the best candidate. Because the latter is Orochimaru's favorite container. Second, if nothing else, Sasuke in the future will be Orochimaru himself. Just as Shigego's doubts settled, before Tokiha could answer, Karen on the side was the one who spoke first. Sasuke seems to be fighting with others just now, in that direction. Between the words, Karen pointed to the direction of the battlefield where Sasuke and Obito were, and then continued. However, their battle seems to be over. Sasuke is coming towards us now. Chapter 497_Confluence. Ninjutsu that escapes into space. Sasuke is coming towards us now. Hearing Karen's words, Shigego and Suzuki have no doubts. After getting along the way, they already knew Karen's abilities. The latter has a strong perception. Moreover, as long as she is familiar with people, within the range of her perception, she can determine their identity. It was also because of this that they knew why Sasuke was looking for a woman who was not very strong to be his teammate. Sure enough. Shortly after Karen's words fell, a figure shot from the direction she had pointed earlier. Distance, everyone can already determine the identity of the latter. With the slight sound of footsteps falling, a familiar figure appeared in front of Shiyu's four people. It's Sasuke. Seeing Sasuke, Shueyu couldn't help but ask. Sasuke, was it Itachi who fought you just now? Suzuki heard from Karen just now that Sasuke was fighting with people just like Tokiyu, and the person who fought Tokiyu just now was a member of the Akatsuki organization. Moreover, they came to find Itachi this time. With the combination of the two, it is natural to have this suspicion. No. Sasuke shook his head, and then said, however, it's not nothing. At least through this fight, I've made sure of one thing. Hearing Sasuke's words, Shueyu and the three of them were also quite curious, but two alone knew it. With Sasuke's current strength, if Obito doesn't deliberately avoid the fight, the Sharingan will definitely be exposed in the fight. What's the matter? Suzuki, who was the most curious, was the first to ask, and Karen and Shigego, who heard the words, also locked their eyes on Sasuke. The masked man who fought with me just now also has eyes. As soon as Sasuke said this, the three of Suzuki were shocked at 3 o'clock. In their memory, the Uchiha clan was wiped out 16 years ago. Now there are people who own Sharingan. In addition to Sasuke and Itachi, the two Uchiha tribesmen, they know that they also have open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. The person is Kakashi. After some simple speculation, Karen asked. Sasuke, that person's Sharingan was also transplanted. No, he's also Uchiha. Hearing that Karen's Trio 3 was shocked again, they obviously didn't expect to get such an answer. While the three of them were shocked, Sasuke's voice sounded again. This person is the accomplice who killed the Uchiha clan with Itachi, and is also on my kill list. Between the words, there was a coldness on Sasuke's face, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and a strong killing intent radiated from his body. For those who make Uchiha dead, he will definitely not let go. This is his obsession, the obsession to live. If he wants to change this obsession, there is only the truth of extermination. Seeing Sasuke like this, Shueyu and others did not ask for the first time, but only after Sasuke's killing intent faded away. Sasuke, that is the accomplice dead. Sasuke also returned safely, so the battle between the two should have only two results. Either the other party ran away or the other party died, but from the faint killing intent left in Sasuke at this time, the speculation in everyone's hearts was more inclined to the former. And the truth is as they guessed. Run. That guy awakened Mangekyo Sharingan master has a ninjutsu that can escape into space. Hearing this, Suzuki, Karen, and Shigego murmured in their hearts, as if they had thought of something. Ninjutsu into space. The three of them didn't know, but Shiyu knew it. That Sasuke speaks of to escape into space is the kamui he used before. That's why the Karen three were thoughtful. However, Sasuke's next sentence made everyone startled, even Tokyo. It seems that there was an accident when the guy performed this technique, and he directly broke an arm. Quote quote. Quote quote. Chapter 498 Entrance to the Stronghold. Invisible reason. It seems that there was an accident when the guy performed this technique, and he directly broke an arm. As soon as Sasuke said this, Shiyu and the four of them were all shocked. Immediately after being stunned for a short time, Shiyu suddenly realized. Sasuke 4 doesn't know why Obito's ninjutsu has such a change, but he is clear about it. Because Deidara was dragged into the kamui different space by him. At this time, Tokyo couldn't help but smile to himself, he didn't expect such a coincidence. Dragged Deidara into the kamui space and blew himself up, but he didn't want the latter's explosion to affect Karen's Trio 3. What I didn't expect was this unexpected joy. At this moment, Tokyo also knew why Sasuke was able to beat Obito so quickly. It turns out that all of this has something to do with him. If it wasn't for that, Sasuke's Susanoo would probably have nothing to do with the latter. Obito's Mangekyo is too much, it's blurry, and ordinary people are not his opponents at all. Perhaps, Sasuke can use open black lens bracket Amaterasu close black lens bracket to threaten Obito's life once without his knowledge. But only once. However, the point is that Obito Master has the ultimate demonic illusion of open black lens bracket Izanagi close black lens bracket. Therefore, one life threat is obviously not enough for him. And when Shiyu was immersed in his thoughts, Karen thought of something first, and his eyes couldn't help falling on Shiyu. What Karen thought was that Tokyo just said that he dragged Deidara into a different space, and Sasuke said that the masked man had the ability to escape into space, plus the latter's arm disappeared strangely. So, he wondered if the space they both escaped into was the same. But in the end she shook her head. Obviously, she felt that her idea was too far-fetched. Just when the atmosphere was slightly silent, the sound also sounded slowly. Sasuke, what do you have next? Plan. Since there are members of Akatsuki in this stronghold, maybe Itachi may be among them. I want to investigate further. Hearing Sasuke's words, Tokyo replied. Then hurry up. Since the masked man you are fighting against is Itachi's accomplice, maybe he will inform the latter. Sasuke nodded, so the group of 5 of them set foot again to find the entrance to the stronghold. After a previous search, this time they didn't spend. Soon they found the stronghold established by the Akatsuki organization here, and at this moment, they finally knew why they couldn't sense the chakra fluctuations here. It turned out that this stronghold was enchanted by subordinates, and if nothing else, it should be preventing others from perception. If not, when they first came here, Tokyo and Karen should be able to quickly perceive any chakra that exists in this barren mountain. Especially Tokyo, his open black lens bracket God Forbidden Mind close black lens bracket is stronger than Karen's open black lens bracket Kagura Mind close black lens bracket. But even he didn't sense it, which can only explain a few problems. Either this stronghold is empty, or there is no stronghold here at all, or there are other reasons, and the enchantment in front of me is undoubtedly one of them. Open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket The organization's base is not like Orochimaru, base with managers, test subjects, etc. The former only has a dozen or so people. Moreover, it also includes a few people who have died. Open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket. The stronghold is not like other organizations that are guarded and taken care of all the year round. It has only one function. That is used to seal the tailed beasts. Therefore, the strongholds they choose are remote places that are extremely hidden and will not be easily disturbed by people. And at this time, the barrier that you and the others are seeing now, was set up to play this role. Chapter 499 _ The soldiers are divided into 3 ways. Another stronghold. Although this enchantment is exquisite, it is not worth mentioning in front of Shiyu. I saw Shiyu stretched out his fingers, and there seemed to be this lightning flashing on them. Immediately after, Shiyu made a slight swipe towards the light blue barrier in front of him, and the barrier immediately broke open. Next moment, barrier shattered directly in the eyes of Sasuke 5-5, and turned into strands of energy that dissipated with the wind. After doing all this, Shiyu's voice also sounded slowly. Let's go. Sasuke, Karen and the others nodded, and then a group of 5 directly stepped into the cave in the mountain. Stepping into the cave, an icy feeling hits instantly. Full of life and blood like Orochimaru's base, there is only endless cold here. At this moment, Yu were and 5 stopped, because 3 branches appeared in front of them. Sasuke looked at Karen and asked directly. How can you feel that there are chakra fluctuations in here? Hearing the words, Karen closed her eyes, Kagura heart eyes opened, and began to scan the entire cave. After a while, when Karen opened his eyes, he frowned slightly. There seems to be something special embedded in the wall here, which can hinder chakra's perception. Things that hinder perception. Sasuke muttered, a look of sadness on his face. If even Karen can't perceive it, then he may have to explore separately again. And in fact, as Karen said, the walls of this stronghold are embedded with some dark gray stones. Even Shiyu, who has God-forbidden mind, has a limited range of knowledge. It can be seen that this thing has a strong interference effect on chakra. After thinking for a while, Shiyu said. This should be the means of Akatsuki outsiders detection. The previous barrier outside the cave was probably powered by these stones. I have to say, open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket. There are still many ways to organize. Each base is arranged with quite powerful enchantments are used as protection to prevent outside interference from them. Sealing tailed beasts can be an extremely exhausting task, and it is no wonder that they go to great lengths to arrange the enchantment. Well, let's divide our troops into 3 ways. If Itachi stood here, the probability of finding him would be higher, and he wouldn't have a chance to slip away. Itachi's strength is extraordinary, we call it bombing the wall. No objection to Shiyu's proposal. Although the cave is not big, there is more than one entrance and exit. As Shiyu said, if Itachi stands at this stronghold, the chances of them working together to find it will be greatly reduced. Moreover, it is possible to give Itachi a chance to escape. As for the notification signal, it is understandable. Because the cave is not big, they can obviously hear the first thing when there is a strong movement. After there was no objection, Shiyu and his party of 5 also began to divide the labor. Tokyu's suggestion was that he, Sasuke, and Suzuki each went to the entrance of the passage, and Karen and Shigego responded outside. Karen is good at perception, she can always sense if she stays outside. Open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket. Other members of the organization have returned. Advance notice so they can be prepared. And Chongo, of course, stayed to protect the former. Although Karen's perception ability is strong, his combat power is really weak. No superfluous nonsense. After all arrangements were made, Tokyu, Sasuke, and Suzuki 3 entered a passage respectively. And not long after the 3 Tokiwa 3 started their action, in another Akatsuki organization stronghold thousands of miles away. Here, Basically the Akatsuki members are there. It seems that because the Four Tails just finished sealing, they did not disperse. Next second. Absolutely. The figure suddenly appeared from the ground, and the opening was an explosive news. Quote quote. Quote quote. Chapter 500 _ a name that caught the attention of Akatsuki. Deidara is dead. That I brought back after searching the battlefield, and it is undoubtedly explosive for the other members of open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket. The ghost shark who heard the words did not have the slightest sadness, but instead joked. Ah, there are fewer members. I think he's pretty strong. Why was he killed? When I went to recruit Deidara to join the team, in addition to Itachi, there were Oni and Sasori. Coupled with so many years of understanding, he also understands Deidara's ability. Otherwise, the latter will not be able to catch Gaara and the wild open black lens bracket Three Tails close black lens bracket. Although there is a hint of pity in the tone of the ghost shark, there is not much ripple on his face. Desperados like them have long put their life and death aside. You don't necessarily care about your own life, let alone someone else's. To mention Deidara, even if Itachi died, there would not be much turbulence in the heart of the ghost shark. Itachi's eyes narrowed and he asked slowly. Killed by that side. QB, Nine Tails, Kid or Sasuke? It's Sasuke's Eagle Squad, but... When the words came to this point, he was hesitant to speak, obviously thinking of something. Seeing this, the ghost shark asked. But what? However, there is a little devil among them. There is obviously not much information about Master Shiyuju. After all, the latter is not their target. Therefore, there is no in-depth investigation of Shiyu. Furthermore, it has only been 3 years since Shiyu became a ninja, and there is no claim to fame. We're basically killed after the battle with him. And in order to hide the powerful bottom of Tokiha, it is naturally impossible for Konoha to fool this information and get it easily for others. This is for what few people know that Orochimaru was killed by Tokyu. Now the situation in the ninja world is turbulent, the clouds are turbulent, and the Akatsuki organization is secretly eyeing. Konoha had to keep a hand, just in case. Once the Akatsuki comes to attack Konoha, they can come and catch the turtle in the urn and make them go back and forth. Have to say, Tsunade is indeed a piece of Hokage material, but his thoughts are far-reaching. Although Itachi knows Tokiha's extraordinary, but he has his own plans. A last resort, he will not easily disclose the latter's information. One more. Itachi murmured, and a face flashed in his mind. The owner of this face is none other than Shiyu. This is his subconscious reaction. In that simple confrontation more than 2 years ago, Shiyu left a deep impression on him. Not long ago, he and Shiyu had a conversation when they fought. Although he had only been in contact with him twice, Itachi felt that Tokyu was not simple, and he couldn't see through it anyway. However, he is not sure yet because according to their master's information, Sasuke has defected from Konoha. And now Tokiha is still a member of Konoha, so how could the latter be with Sasuke? Seeing the doubts on Itachi, Oni Shark and others, he never concealed it. That kid was also a member of Kakashi's squad, the last of a 3-person squad of 3 made up of Uchiha Sasuke and Kyuubi, Nine Tails Kid Uzumaki Naruto. It's called Takagawa Tokiha. As Ju's words fell, Heavenly Path Pain and Xiaonan's expressions did not show any ripples. Because they are very unfamiliar with this name. They don't know, but the expressions of Itachi and Oni at the moment are stagnant. Who has met Tokyu twice, because the former always gives him an unfathomable look. Chapter 501 _ Shiyu's name. Mangekyo's secret. Takagawa Tokiha. Ghost Shark muttered, and then asked, that kid is also there. Ju nodded and continued, when I arrived at the scene, the battle was over. Apart from Sasuke and the 3 teammates he recruited at the time, the last person was Natakigawa Takiwa. If it weren't for the fact that Sasori was killed by him and Chiyo together, I wouldn't have noticed this little guy. It's that kid. The ghost shark was startled, and couldn't help but think of a possibility. He was there both times when members of our organization were killed, but I don't know if Hidan and Koku's death had anything to do with him. Others don't know how powerful Shiyu is, but Ghost Shark at least has a certain understanding, because he was hit by Shiyu's demonic illusion more than 2 years ago and almost got into a fight with Itachi. Therefore, he was very impressed with Shiyu. Especially the latter also has a pair of Sharingan. As soon as the Ghost Shark said this, it immediately attracted the attention of several other people. If the fall of Hidan and Koku really has something to do with Tokyo, then they have to pay attention to the latter. Heavenly Pathpain's eyes narrowed slightly. Ghost Shark, you know that kid? The Ghost Shark nodded, then said, I saw this little devil when I went to Konoha with Itachi to hunt Kyuubi, Ninetales 2 years ago. But that's not the point. The point is that this kid actually has Sharingan. And it doesn't seem like the transplanted kind. As soon as the Ghost Shark said this, all the people present except Itachi were all startled. They obviously didn't think that apart from the few people they knew, there are still people in the world who have Sharingan. The most crucial last piece of information, like a transplant. If it is transplanted, they can still understand. After all, there is such a precedent in the West. If it wasn't for the transplant, the thought of how a foreigner could have Sharingan pain in the other's eyes instantly locked on Itachi. Seeing this, Itachi knew that everything about Shiyu could not be hidden. That's right, that. The kid named Takagawa Tokiha does have the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. But I'm not sure if it was a transplant or not. However, what is certain is that he can use the ability of Sharingan at will. Also, he awakened Mangekyo just like me. As soon as Itachi's words came out, a flash of consternation flashed in the eyes of Pain and the others. From the information they know, the awakening open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket is only Itachi and Obito. And Obito is Uchiha Madara in Pain's cognition. But some time ago they learned the latest information, that is, Kakashi has also awakened Mangekyo. This made them a little surprised. Unexpectedly, Kakashi, who did not have the blood of the Uchiha family, could open the second stage of Sharingan, which was beyond their expectations. Itachi was also slightly surprised when he learned this information at the time. When he went to Konoha to use open black lens bracket Tsukuyomi close black lens bracket on Kakashi, in addition to deterring the high-level officials of Konoha, he actually had a purpose. That is to let Kakashi know the existence of open black lens bracket Mangekyo Sharingan close black lens bracket. But as for Kakashi to be able to master this second stage open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket, he also has no idea. He just did it with the mentality of trying it out. But the final result undoubtedly surprised him. Although it was 2 years later, he was satisfied with the answer he got. But the problem is they all got it wrong. Kakashi's open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket was awakened when open black lens bracket Nohara Rin close black lens bracket died more than 10 years ago. But as to whether it was because of Obito's awakening Mangekyo that resonance caused Kakashi's Sharingan to evolve, this is a bit far-fetched. After all, the eyes are on Kakashi. Maybe because Kakashi was also stimulated by the same, it is not impossible to wake up open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket. Therefore, there is no definite conclusion whether people without the blood of the Uchiha family can awaken Mangekyo. Not to mention that no one has tried it. It is estimated that few people know how Mangekyo Sharingan awakened, even the people of the Uchiha family. Please download the Filu novel. Chapter 502_Life and Death Do Not Know. Nagato's suspicion. Heavenly Path Pain and the others finally began to pay attention to the name Tokyo after hearing the words of Oni Shark and Itachi. Absolutely. Gather some information about this Takagawa Tokiha as much as possible, and don't let him become an obstacle to our capture of Kyuubi, Ninetales. Got it. Ju nodded, and he also had a certain interest in Shiyu in his heart. If Shiyu is just a genius boy, he has absolutely no information, but the problem is that the latter has open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. Moreover, it has already awakened to the level of open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket. After this topic was over, the ghost shark seemed to have thought of something, and the lazy voice sounded again. Ah, there seems to be one less person. That guy Ah Fei found that I didn't find her, and I don't know if she hung up or hid. Absolutely responded. Ah Fei, the escape king should be able to escape, right? In Gui Shark's eyes, Ah Fei is just a weak candidate. If it wasn't for Sasori's death, he wouldn't be able to take the latter's place. But as for Ah Fei's true identity, he was the only one present in the dark. Pain, however, apparently did not intend to reveal the latter's identity. It doesn't matter. There are as many guys as you want, it's just a pity Didera. Hey. Ghost Shark smiled and then said, Ah Fei is also an amazing guy who can ease the gloomy atmosphere in the organization. But in fact, the Ghost Shark at this moment has some doubts about Ah Fei's identity, so he will say these words. Later, he directly asked Ah Fei's true identity, and Obito took off his mask directly. This is also the reason why Gui Sha would rather die than reveal the information later. Okay, it's all gone. Voice fell, and Pain's voice also disappeared. At the same time, in a hall in a Megakure village, a scrawny Yuhi hairpin with dozens of black sticks stuck all over his body. There was a gleam in the young man's eyes. Takagawa Takiwa, is that you? This Yuhifa youth is none other than Nagato, who has lost his ability to act. A year ago. Once had a fight with Nagato when he was passing by a Megakure village. Although it was only a brief confrontation, Nagato could sense the strength of the latter. Pain 6 paths close black lens bracket alone, you can deal with it calmly, although Shiyu retreated in the end. Latter retreated because he lost the match or because he didn't want to entangle with him. One open black lens bracket Kekkei Genkei close black lens bracket. Of the mysterious man made him feel a little hidden danger. Will the appearance of the latter affect his plans? So, in the next year or so, using Jiden magnet style as his entry point, he began to collect all the information about the mysterious man. But this mysterious man seemed to have evaporated from the world, and he couldn't gather any information about the latter at all. As for Master Jiden magnet style ninjas, he has collected a lot, but after some scrutiny, he has ruled them all out. Among them is the Jiden magnet style boy who has just risen in Konoha, Takagawa Tokiha. But in his eyes, Shiyu was just a kid who had just become a genin for more than a year, and it was impossible for him to possess such amazing strength. Not to mention him, as long as he is a normal person, he will think so. But now, Takagawa Tokiha. The name appeared in front of his eyes again, so he had to look again. Because according to Itachi and Oni Shark, Tokiyu had awakened Mangekyo Sharingan 2 years ago. Such a person, how can it be ordinary? A person who is not from the Uchiha family can not only use Sharingan at will, but also become the apprentice of Tsunade and Jiraiya at the same time. Mixed with Sasuke, the Konoha missing nin. Everything has put a mysterious veil on Tokiha, which makes him have to doubt Tokiha. Chapter 503 Geto Mazo, Demonic Statue of the Outer Path. Returning Acquaintance. After the members of Open Black Lens bracket Akatsuki Close Black Lens bracket disbanded in this stronghold, Tokiyu and the others also went deep into the cave. After some searching, Tokiyu, Sasuke, and Suzuki arrived at the center of this stronghold, but unfortunately there was no one here. However, Shiyu discovered that there were signs of collapse on the ground, and the area was several tens of feet wide. According to Tokiyu's inference, this should be left by Open Black Lens bracket Geto Mazo, Demonic Statue of the Outer Path, Close Black Lens bracket. In other words, Open Black Lens bracket Akatsuki Close Black Lens bracket Organization once sealed Open Black Lens bracket Tailed Beast Close Black Lens bracket here. After some exploration, Shuiyu was the first to speak. Looks like Itachi is not here. Sasuke Kiba, who heard the words, took a bite, and a look of unwillingness appeared on his face. They managed to get some clues about open black lens bracket Akatsuki close black lens bracket, but in the end they were all in vain. Seeing this, Shiyu said, "Sasuke, don't worry. Although we didn't find Itachi here, I guess he should be in another stronghold now." Another stronghold? Sasuke was shocked, and then said, "We don't know where the other stronghold is. Even if we find it, Itachi may have already left. A few days ago, they learned from Kaku, two subordinates, that this country has two strongholds of the Akatsuki organization, but they also know this. As for the other, they have only heard of it. I know the location." When Shiyu said this, Sasuke and Shuiyu were both startled. The former's answer was obviously unexpected to them. Seeing the two staring at Shiyu with astonished expressions on their faces, they started talking nonsense in earnest again. "After I defeated Deidara earlier, I got information on Akatsuki from him. This is pure nonsense, Tokyo. To know the location of the other stronghold is entirely because of watching the anime. He knows the direction of the world like the back of his hand, let alone this. Some little information. According to Tokyo's inference, Itachi should rectify and rush to their location after getting the news from Sasuke. Sasuke has grown up, and Itachi is about to execute his final plan." Hearing Tokyo's words, Sasuke's eyes lit up. "Shiyu, what you said is true. When did I lie to you?" Hearing Tokyo's answer, Sasuke's face suddenly filled with a strong look of joy. In his opinion, Shiyu did not lie to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the amazing strength he has now. In fact, Shiyu really lied. But the problem is that he does know the location of another stronghold, which is the most annoying. In fact, Shiyu had basically predicted this ending before he came in. If there is no change in the plot, Itachi is already still in the territory of Rainland. But Shiyu naturally couldn't make it clear, because he wasn't sure whether this stronghold would change in some way because of his appearance. Now it seems that everything is still business as usual. This is also the reason why Shiyu only said it now, and it just fits the current occasion. Moreover, Itachi's life and death are related to his fourth mission. As for the battle between Itachi and Sasuke, he doesn't want to stop it, because it is also designed into his follow-up plan. Only through this battle will Itachi believe that he has this ability. And when Tokiwa and his party of 3 left this stronghold, a megacure village, thousands of miles away, it was still raining heavily. In the heavy rain, there were 2 figures. One is Heavenly Path Pain, the other is Xiaonan. The space in front of the two suddenly distorted, and then a masked figure slowly entered their eyes. They are not surprised by this. They are not used to seeing this scene, and this figure is also a person they are familiar with. Chapter 504 Heavenly Path Pain. Jiden, Magnet Style Kid. This masked man is none other than Obito. That, S.Y. Pain and Xiaonan didn't have the slightest surprise on their faces when they saw the latter. Although they have not played against Obito, they still affirm the latter's strength. Although they have doubts about Obito's self-proclaimed Uchiha Madara information, they cannot deny the latter's power. Ability to travel back and forth in space. Also control, EPUB, 9 tails. From their point of view, how could such an existence die in the hands of Sasuke and his entourage? At this time, Obito's broken arm has been restored to its original shape, which is obviously due to the fusion of white Zetsu and Hashirama cells. Moreover, the left eye that was blinded by the use of open black lens bracket Izanagi close black lens bracket has also been transplanted with a new open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. This kind of life-saving trump card, Obito will naturally not neglect. Seeing Obito appearing, Pain also asked straight to the point. How about Sasuke? Needless to say, Obito also knew when he went to touch Sasuke's bottom pain. It feels good. He has brought out the power of Sharingan perfectly, and maybe he will become a better user of Sharingan than Itachi in the future. Obito's words are full of deep meaning. He does not mean that Sasuke's talent is better than Itachi's. But Sasuke's natural control over open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket seems to be very strong, which is what he felt in the battle with Sasuke. But it's just a feeling, so he can't be sure. In fact, he's feeling pretty good. Reason why Sasuke has more control over open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket than them is because he is Indra reincarnated. This chakra hidden in the body can make the control of Sharingan an ultimate. Just like Uchiha Madara at the beginning. Hearing Obito's answer, Pain and Xiaonan were slightly taken aback, but they didn't think about Sasuke's comment. They probably know about Itachi's strength, the latter being the top combat power among Akatsuki. Especially the latter's demonic illusion, it's amazing. If Obito and Pain hadn't been able to ignore Sharingan's pupil technique, they would be even more afraid of Itachi. At this moment, Pain and Xiaonan can fully understand why Orochimaru died in the assistant. But unfortunately, they also think wrong. Although the current Sasuke does have the capital to defeat Orochimaru, the latter did not die at his hands. They are still in the dark about the truth of the matter. Oh, yes. Sasuke you found with Deidara, did he ever meet one of them named Toki Takagawa? Takagawa Tokiha. Obito muttered, then said, it's that Jiden magnet-style kid. Not bad. Seeing that Pain actually asked Shiyu himself, Obito was also a little puzzled. Why did you ask this kid all of a sudden? When we discussed earlier, the information we got was that this kid is not as simple as it seems on the surface. Pain replied and continued, if Itachi and Oni Shark didn't lie, the latter also has Sharingan. Also, it has reached the level of open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket. As soon as Pain said these words, the expression under Obito's mask suddenly froze. Undoubtedly, this news completely exceeded his expectations. He had seen Shiyu's eyes with his own eyes, and they were definitely a pair of normal eyes. If the latter really has open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket, then he can obviously control this open black lens bracket Kekkei Jinkei close black lens bracket at will. But if this is the case, then the contradiction will come. Shiyu is neither like Kakashi nor from their Uchiha clan, so how did the latter do this? Is Shiyu a scattered clan of their family? Moment. Countless thoughts flashed in Obito's mind, but he still couldn't be sure which kind of Shiyu belonged to. Chapter 505 A Megakure Village. Hunt Kyubi, 9 Tails. But when Obito learned that Shiyu had open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket and had awakened open black lens bracket Mangekyo close black lens bracket, he thought of a possibility. That's why his Kamui space exploded. If it was caused by Kakashi, it would be too coincidental. But if this is Tokyu, everything is logical. Because Tokyu was fighting against Deidara at the time, and the latter's methods were all explosions. It's really you, Toki Takagawa. Obito secretly said in his heart, and a dignified look flashed in his eyes. If all this is true, then this Takagawa Tokiha is undoubtedly the next Uchiha Itachi. And, it's even trickier than the latter. Because of this, the Kamui space is no longer his own. If it is against Shiyu, this method of his will be useless. And this is just his judgment based on the current master's information, as for Shiyu's true strength is still unknown. No way. There are too many secrets in Shiyu's body, so he can't guess, see through. It seems that I have to find a time to meet this brat for a while. After an idea flashed through my mind. Obito's expression became serious again, facing Pain in front of him. The time is ripe. That guy should be mentally prepared, because his day is coming. What about Kyubi, 9 Tails? Pain Road. Go get arrested. As a leader, you can only succeed, not fail. As for the guy in Obito's mouth, it was Itachi. He knew that the latter was seriously ill and his time was running out. Although he had a promise with him, do not move Sasuke. But as long as he dies, this promise will cease to exist. And Obito is very slippery, he did not do it himself, but let Pain do it. While Obito and Pain were discussing the detailed plan, Itachi and Oni were on their way to leave the village of Omegakure. The ghost shark looked at the dripping water droplets in front of him and murmured softly, "It's still raining." Itachi, who heard the words, looked up at the sky and responded, "It's really rare that it will rain like this in this season. But in fact these rains except Omegakure village. Addition to its special position, part of the reason is that Pain is secretly manipulating it. The latter can sense whether there is an enemy invasion through these. It looks like rain, but it actually becomes a means of guarding." Before the administration of Pain, Omegakure village actually had two ninja villages, namely Open Black Lens Bracket Omegakure of Rain Country Close Black Lens Bracket and Open Black Lens Bracket Omegakure of River Country Close Black Lens Bracket. After the reign of Pain, the Omegakure, which divided the world into two parts, was unified, and the unified Rain Country was located at the junction of the three regions of Earth Country, Fire Country, and Sand Country. Omegakure Village. The buildings are mainly made of steel, and there are also a considerable part of stone, inside and outside, or erected by many large and small steel pipes, forming a unique landscape. This is also closely related to the rainfall in the village of Omegakure, so there are so many large pipes and sewers. The top of the tower in Omegakure village is generally uninhabited except for Nagato and Konan in the tower. The top of the tower is generally used to store the dead bodies, and the crowd may live in a lower place. Seeing Itachi stopped in the rain and didn't move, the ghost shark also smiled lightly. "Raining is not good for your health." His tone was both a reminder and a joke. Having teamed up with Itachi for so long, he naturally knew about Itachi's physical problems. Overall, the relationship between the two of them is quite good. Seeing that Itachi was silent, the ghost shark said it again. "I don't know what a cold-hearted person like you is thinking now." Itachi didn't answer the ghost shark's question, and let the rain drip down his face like tears. After a while, heavy rain gradually disappeared, and Itachi's voice followed. "The rain has stopped, we should go." Itachi, who had finished speaking, had no unnecessary nonsense and walked straight ahead. That direction is another stronghold of Open Black Lens Bracket Akatsuki Close Black Lens Bracket organized in Open Black Lens Bracket Kuni of River Close Black Lens Bracket. Please download Filu novel to see the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 506 The Secret of the Rain Country. Jiraiya's decision. While Itachi and Oni leave Omegakure village, Obito and Pain's discussion has come to an end. Uzumaki Naruto, he is no longer the kid he used to be. In addition to the one I just said, Takagawa Tokyu, now he has many powerful companions by his side. To be honest, hunting him isn't that easy anymore. Hearing Obito's words, before Pain could answer, Xiaonan on the side was the first to speak. "It is in vain to say that you are too ambitious to destroy your own prestige, because Pain has never been defeated." "Hey, that's true." Obito chuckled lightly, agreeing with Xiaonan's point of view. In his opinion, Nagato with Rinnegan has basically stood at the top of the ninja world. Today's world, it is difficult to find an opponent who can compete with it. After such thoughts flashed in his mind, Obito said again, "Stop talking. Let the others hurry up and get the rest Jinchuriki column force." Understood. Pain's face between the words, only the endless indifference and coldness. After explaining things, Obito murmured to himself as he looked at the sky, which was already completely raining. "It's coming soon, we are only one step away from our goal. By then, everything will be back to normal." Shiyu and his party of 5 were on their way to the next stronghold, except after Obito and Pain made the plan. Konoha's intelligence has also made new progress. Jiraiya, back, at this time, in Hokage's office. Standing in front of Tsunade and Shizune, Jiraiya said with a proud face. "Hey, I have already arrived at the location of the leader of the Akatsuki organization. What? Really? This, Tsunade and Shizune were shocked at the same time, their faces full of excitement. Tell me in detail, maybe we can formulate a corresponding raid operation plan based on your intelligence. Jiraiya was stunned for a moment, then said, Don't be so anxious. It's not a sequel to your novel, how can you be so leisurely? It's not a good thing to be so anxious. Jiraiya said slowly, and then said, in this way, let's go and have a drink first, and then I will talk to you in detail. Having said that, in fact, Jiraiya has already made a decision in her heart. This wine is undoubtedly a practice, because he has decided to personally investigate the true face of the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Clap. Tsunade, who heard the words, slapped the table, stood up and cursed. Idiot, I'm Hokage. It's working time now, and what kind of wine do you drink in the daytime, so it's worthy of those who are still ninjas on missions. Half an hour later, Konoha Wine House. Tsunade drank the bowl of wine in his hand and spit out a long voice. Aha! Looking at the really fragrant side in front of her, Jiraiya's face was speechless. Tsunade. You'd better take responsibility for what you say, you, Ria Hokage anyway. Tsunade, who heard the words, did not pay attention to Jiraiya's words, but asked directly. According to what you just said, the leader of that Akatsuki organization should be in a Megakure village. As far as I know, the current Land of Rain requires entry screening for those who enter and leave their country. Also, you will be closely monitored during your stay. It was also extremely difficult to go through the formalities for the joint Chunin exam in the first few times. It was an extremely self-isolating village. Normally, this kind of village shouldn't make waves. For Tsunade's remarks, Jiraiya has a different view. You said it was only superficial, but in the dark no one knows. This extremely close approach is very likely to prevent other countries from knowing the real situation of their country and shinobi village, or to cover up some unknown secrets. Secret? Tsunade exclaimed. Jiraiya nodded and continued. You may not know it, but Land of Rain was in a continuous civil war a long time ago, and even the village at that time was divided into two. According to the information I have collected, the leader of one of these villages is the current leader of the Akatsuki organization. Quote, quote. Quote, quote. Chapter 507 _ Risk Your Life. Dragon Travel. Hearing what Jiraiya said, Tsunade said. Rain country. This country is surrounded by fire country, wind country, and earth country. It used to be a battlefield between great powers. Therefore, the internal affairs are unstable and the number of refugees is increasing day by day. Jiraiya nodded, and then said, That's why I want to confirm whether the information I have inquired is true. You mean? I want to dive in and investigate first. As for your so-called battle plan, I'll talk about it when I get back. It's too dangerous to be alone. There was a hint of concern in Tsunade's tone, clearly not wanting Jiraiya to be alone. Don't worry, I'm Konoha's Sannin anyway. But, despite what Jiraiya said, Tsunade was still a little worried. Akatsuki organization are all terrifyingly powerful, so the strength of the leader of Akatsuki is absolutely impossible to underestimate. I'm sorry, I always let you do such a dangerous thing. Jiraiya couldn't help laughing, obviously trying to ease Tsunade's emotions at this time. Ha ha ha, I'm not used to you for a while. You should have been the one who became Hokage. 3 generations always wanted to pass on Hokage's position to you. I'm not that material, my character is too free and reckless. You regret not being able to stop Orochimaru's mutiny that year, so you have been there, investigate him outside. Hearing Tsunade's words, Jiraiya fell into deep thought. Apparently, Tsunade got it right. That's why Jiraiya came back to Konoha early 2 years ago when Orochimaru attacked Konoha, he should have known that the latter would make a move during that time. A long silence. Jiraiya's tone also rose. There's no need to do this now, and now the sequel to the novel can be released. To be honest, compared to you write a novel, what I didn't even think about was that the guy died. The guy Tsunade was talking about was Orochimaru, although she hated the latter's alleged actions. But after all, the three of them used to be teammates, and even more comrades in arms. How high-spirited they were when they were awarded the title of Sannin. But now that the years have changed, everything has changed. The three of us used to be together with the teacher, and that time is really nostalgic. Yes. Jiraiya responded lightly and said slowly, the princess typing in the past is now a giant Hokage, and the times are constantly improving. And our mission now is to set an example for the next generation and give them the help they need. For these, I can risk my life with a smile. Maybe this is the so-called demeanor of the elderly. Tsunade had a long chat behind the wine table. Jiraiya also left Konoha in the evening of the day. Travels, life and death are on the line. On the way from Jiraiya to a Megakure village, Shiyu and his group of 5 have arrived at another stronghold. This stronghold also has the function of shielding chakra perception. Moreover, the location of its entrance is even more hidden than the first one. After entering the cave, the scene that catches your eye is like a retreat from the previous stronghold, and there are still three channels. In this regard, Shiyu still followed the previous method. He, Sasuke and Suzuki entered a passage each, while Shigego and Karen stayed outside. And shortly after Tokyo split up, 2 Yuhi dots appeared in front of the passage where Tokyo was. Take a closer look, it's a pair of eyes. With Shiyu's insight, you can see the origin of these eyes at a glance. That's a pair of open black lens bracket Sharingan close black lens bracket. And the owner of these eyes is none other than the Uchiha Itachi they were looking for on this trip. Obviously, Itachi is already here waiting for Sasuke. What Tokyo didn't expect was that the latter would choose to meet him first to see the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 508 _ The Truth of the Dead. Brothers and Teammates. Seeing Shiyu, Itachi was the first to speak. I didn't expect you to be able to find this place in such a short period of time, which is beyond my expectations. To know that this base is far away from another base, it will take 2 days to keep on the road. Moreover, it is still necessary to know the clear location. But now Shiyu and the others not only did it, but also in the case of a day earlier, couldn't this shock him? The reason why Shiyu and the others were able to get here quickly is naturally relying on that hand-open black lens bracket Doden, Earth-style, super lightweight rock technique close black lens bracket. It is undoubtedly the fastest to travel by flying. However, Itachi obviously does not know this. To Itachi's surprise, Shiyu did not answer, but instead said, "It seems that you have been waiting for us here for a long time. It just surprised me that the first person you chose to meet was me, not Sasuke." To be honest, Shiyu didn't really think of this. "I just don't understand some questions, and I want answers from you." Itachi's idea is very simple. He just wants to clear some confusion in his heart before using his life to complete Sasuke. "It looks like you didn't come to fight me. To be honest, I don't want to fight you unless it's necessary." "Oh, why is that?" Itachi was also a little stunned in the words, obviously did not expect Shiyu to say such a thing. "It's simple. Because you are Sasuke's brother and I am his teammate." "Ah." Itachi, who heard the words, was stunned again, and then said, "That first-level relationship exists. My current identity is Missing Nin of Konoha, and I am a member of the Akatsuki organization. If you didn't care about this heavy brotherhood, you would have killed him on the night of Uchiha's genocide 10 years ago." "Don't follow. I said it was because he was too much, you didn't want to kill him. If that's the case, why are the other old and weak women and children in the clan being chased and killed?" Hearing Shiyu's words, Itachi frowned. He obviously didn't expect Shiyu to be so young, yet his considerations are so sophisticated that he is not inferior to any experienced adult. Seeing Itachi was silent, Tokyo spoke again. If I didn't guess correctly, there must be something hidden behind the destruction of the Uchiha family. Itachi showed admiring eyes, which was also in disguise to admit that what Tokyo said was true. However, he naturally couldn't tell Shiyu. Because he didn't want Sasuke to know about it, otherwise, the latter would definitely hate Konoha. Since he chose to protect Konoha at the beginning, he would not let his younger brother become the one who destroyed Konoha. Shiyu, you must be very smart. However, I didn't come to you today to talk about this. Before Itachi could say the following, Shiyu spoke first. You want to know that Sasuke has clearly left the village, why am I still with him? Itachi's eyes narrowed slightly, and his expression was a little moved. He knew that Shiyu's strength was very strong, but he didn't expect that the latter's IQ was also almost enchanting. He immediately guessed why he was looking for him. Seeing Itachi's expression, Shiyu smiled slightly and continued. Would you believe it if I told you now that Sasuke never left Konoha from beginning to end? When Tokyo said this, Itachi was completely moved. If Sasuke didn't voluntarily leave Konoha, then Konoha sent him to Orochimaru on purpose. If this is the case, you will be very scared.